opportunity to be able to do that. As it relates to the new car, I mean, I think everybody's kind of in the same boat. It's an exciting time. It's car is really good looking car. It has a I think it has a lot of potential. As I've said before, I think that there's been more work that's gone into this car in the sense of not just the aesthetics, but the opportunity to have better races. And as we've evolved the sport into a much more of a mile-and-a-half oriented sport, it's become harder to have those the good close racing we're accustomed that people want to see. I think the racing is really similar to what it's always been, but I think the fans want more than that today. So a lot of effort's gone into making these cars so that we will have better races, and I'm really excited about that, because I think at the end of the day, that's that's the cornerstone of the sport. Is an exciting day at the racetrack, whether you're watching it on TV or watching it at the track, and without that, the sport's in trouble.
All right, we'll open up for questioning. Just raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Mike. We'll go to Kenny and Alan. Jeff.
MikeHenryspeed.com. Just to be clear, you do not have an imaginary girlfriend, right?
I don't know. She's imaginary.
The new car.
If I did, it wouldn't be my fault. It would be somebody else's.
I understand.
Okay.
The new car, some team probably is going to connect with this car pretty early. What do you think is going to be the magic bullet? Is it going to be somebody with a rear suspension deal? Is it going to be aero? What's going to stand out early on?
Well, I wish I knew that, because then we would be that guy. Honestly, we talk a lot about tricks, but I'll tell you that, I'm not a trick guy. I believe that you have to have an entire package. And when you have that entire package, you may can find a trick that makes that package better, but that doesn't actually, necessarily transfer to the team next to you in the garage. So the teams that will do the best have done a good job of understanding the aerodynamics of this car, understanding the chassis stuff. We don't have rear bars now. Figuring out. So it's a combination of all those things. I don't think it's going to be just that a team just stepped up out of the, and just said, wow, we found this trick little piece and put it on the car. It's more about understanding the entire package and maximizing the package. And then having a grasp on what maximizing the prep package means from one track to the next. So at Phoenix, what you do here isn't going to work when you go to Phoenix. So it's understanding the car, understanding your driver, understanding the things you're dealing with, understanding the tires, understanding all of that stuff, and putting a package together that works with all that. I don't think it's one thing.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Jeff, you talked about your struggles the past year or two and trying to get things straightened out and back on track. Is it a good thing that you guys have a new car, or is that going to be another issue that you guys are going to have to deal with as you're trying to sort through everything?
I think the timing of the car is good for us as a company. I think that, by anybody's measurements, we didn't have a good year through the company last year. We went almost the whole year without winning a race. Kevin won really late in the year. So for us, I think it's easier when there's a whole new car with a lot of new rules, with a new rear rule package, that kind of thing. I think it's easier to start over than it is taking an existing vehicle and starting over. So it gives us a chance to, okay, what's the best way to develop the car? And through that, build a program that works for that. So I think the timing of that's good for RCR in general. Whether that'll yield results or not, we'll see. But I think the timing of it's good for us.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. 2 questions. How much time have you had in the Gen 6 car on an intermediate track like this? And is it worrisome, with every minute that passes, the testing time you're not getting?
This will be my 5th time in the Gen 6 car. Yeah, that's right, the 5th time. Testing's valuable, there's no question about it. But if we got 2 hours a day, everybody got 2 hours. So, we have had a fair amount of test time with the cars. This test is a bonus. I mean, last time I remember doing testing like this was when the Taurus was first introduced. and we came over and, we were working on the Taurus. So, I view this as a bonus test. We wouldn't normally get this, and again, if we get 2 hours, then the whole field gets 2 hours. And again, it's about the teams that are most prepared.
Jeff Buck from USA Today. Jeff, I think a lot of people, based on the last 2 years, are skeptical that RCR could rebound, and people, it's kind of a show me type thing. And you mentioned there's been a lot of changes that have you optimistic. I mean, I don't know if you can get into specifics, but what has you excited that there can be a turnaround, and that it won't be, kind of a false optimism like there was 2 years ago leading into last year?
Sure. Well, you're right, I don't want to get into too many specifics, but the direction of the company, the mindset of the company in regard to what do we have to do to be better, the commitment to that, the commitment to I'm going to call it a new philosophy, those things are there, and those things are real. I won't sit here today and guarantee you that that's going to give results. I believe it will. You're right. We've got to show it, and for me to sit here today and tell all you guys we're going to do this and we're going to do that, I think is ridiculous. I can tell you that the commitment to improve is there. The philosophy to improve is there. It is a different philosophy. It's a different way of doing business than we've done it before. It's what I believe in, and that's why I'm optimistic. So, we'll see. I believe in my heart things will be a lot better, but every team in that garage works hard too. So it will be a challenge, but I truly believe it's going to be a lot better.
Jeff, 2 questions. You mentioned earlier the package with the new cars. I understand you correctly. The new car is still a little bit mysterious for you. Are you treating, let's say, the 3, 4, or 5 first races as a test session to understand the car better? And as a reference point, can't you get the package from the old car modified to the new car just to have an idea what you can do?
Well, I think that you racing's a set of building blocks, and every test and event, every race, every year, you keep putting blocks on top of the next block, and you're building you're building more and more information. So we're certainly going to use the information that we have from last year, and we use the information we had from 10 years ago. You learn and you apply what you learn. So I think that it's just a continuing evolution of your thought process. As far as using the first few races for a test, I mean, honestly, no different than any other year. We're going to go to the Daytona 500 with the best stuff we know how to win with. We're going to go do everything we can to be successful. And when we go to the 4th of July race in Daytona, those things will be different because we'll be smarter. We would have learned more. So again, I wouldn't say it's no more test session than every other week is a test session. You're always hoping to be good. You're always hoping to be able to learn something from one week to apply to the next week. And I don't view this car being any different in that regard. I think the learning curve could be quicker. When you have the same car year in, if you have the same basic car for 3 years, you're going to learn a whole lot less in that last year than you did in the first year. So I think that the learning curve could be steep.
Hi, Jeff. Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Throughout the history of this sport, certain drivers have always excelled with certain changes. There was a time when Earnhardt didn't like what Goodyear was doing with their race tires, and it changed his career for a short period of time. The COT seems to have confused maybe teams and drivers more than any other type of car. And you've talked about how you want your car owner and team to do in this, but yourself personally, do you see anything in these changes that for you, seem like a present, a Christmas present in a sense?
It's an interesting question because, I had a conversation with another member of the media at Daytona, and there was a conversation about this car is going to have more downforce, and you won't have to drive the cars loose, and I said, well, that makes some, on the outside that makes sense, but on the inside, typically I like cars set up looser than my teammates. So you never know. You never know. I mean, there's nothing that I look at that I just look at this car and say, wow, that's really going to benefit me. I mean, honestly, what I pay attention to is what do we need to do with the 31 to benefit me. And the thing that has been hard the last 2 years, and it's something I haven't dealt with much in my career, is that the things that Kevin has liked hasn't worked for me. And that hasn't been a good thing, because I haven't, we over the last 2 years, and that hasn't always been like that at RCR. We didn't have this, it just kind of popped up for some reason. We really felt a lot of the same things before. Although we wouldn't run the same setups, we would have a lot of the same comments, and over the last couple of years we haven't, and that's been a difficult thing. It hasn't been just me either. It's kind of been throughout the company. So one driver likes this, the other driver likes that, the other driver likes this. It's really, we're not in the same area, and that's been very confusing. So I'm answering your question in a really long way because I don't really know how to answer it, other than to say that I'll tell you in a few weeks, I'll tell you in a few months, but the end of the day is that us doing a good job of whatever the rule package is, that's what it's about. We got to give me what I need to be successful. And if we do that, then we'll be doing the right things we need to do.
Thank you.
Bob, and then Lee.
Bob Cocker, Sporting News. You've been through these situations before where you've struggled and people wonder, how much longer are you going to be able to do it? How much longer will you keep your ride? How do you feel about that going into this year? And do tests like this create more of an urgency because of all the talk?
Well, I want to be respected by my peers, and that does matter to me. And I think that anybody says it doesn't is pretty shallow individual. I think you always want to be respected by the people around you. I don't want to be in the conversation about is he going to have a ride or whatever. I don't want to be in there, because honestly the reason I want to be there is because that means things aren't going well. I understood 20 years ago, more than that, I understood 25 years ago, when somebody started paying me to drive a race car, that it was different than driving for your dad. And I don't drive for my dad, I drive for my boss. And he has bosses, he has sponsors, that require and demand, as they should, success. And so, I'm tough enough to handle the pressure. If I wasn't, I'd have never accepted a position 25 years ago to get paid by somebody. I don't want to be in a lot of those conversations because it's a hell of a lot more fun. I enjoy coming in and talking to you guys. I enjoy it. And to talk about those things isn't fun. We're not moving the ball. We're not making the sport better. What else it is the conversation about bad things. So I don't like to be involved in that because of that. And it really has nothing to do with the perception or it's just, I want to talk about the good things and the fun things. I understand not everything's fun about racing. You have some tough days, but generally it needs to work well. And I have no interest in just being here. I mean, I have no interest in getting a paycheck just to show up and drive. I want to bring energy. I want to bring excitement. I want to have enthusiasm. I want to be part of a fight. I want to leave the track disappointed when we do bad. And that's what you have when you're doing well. So that's the reason I don't want to be involved in those conversations. And I can tell you this God's honest truth. I've been paid to drive race cars for a long time, but I never drove race cars to get paid. Does that make sense? I drove race cars because it was my passion, and I do it today because it's my passion. I've been fortunate enough to get paid doing, I'm one of the few people, I live a blessed life, and I get paid to do my hobby. But that doesn't mean it's still not, just because I get paid, I still have a passion for it. So I want to be successful. I want to race Jimmy Johnson with a championship. I want to have the pressure to go into Homestead. If you don't get it done, Burton, you're going to finish second. I want that pressure. That's why I do it. The other pressure sucks. It's no fun. So that's the reason why. And I really don't want to be in those conversations because it's just no damn fun.
Go to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. So who do you feel will adapt the quickest, to kind of follow up on what Stan was asking, which drivers? I mean, they were saying that Matt Kenseth would probably be very, would be a bonus having him in the Gibbs camp, because he's the type of guy that can get in a car and tell you what it feels and help you get from point A to point B. Are there other drivers, with similar feels that can help acclimate?
That's a tough question. I mean, it's not a mistake that you have a group of drivers that consistently run well, and Matt being one of them. The people that are benefited by this the most are the people that have found a way to know more about it than their competitors, and that's who's going to benefit by it. I don't. Matt Kenseth, as good as Matt Kenseth is his team has looked at things wrong over the last 3 months, and they go to Phoenix with the wrong philosophy, he ain't gonna be successful. I don't have a way to answer that question other than to say the teams that are the most prepared and understand it the most, they're the ones, individual teams and companies that are gonna have the most success.
Mike and then Claire.
What's up with Harrison this year? Are you feeling heat from him kind of coming up behind you? And are you?
I hope so.
Are you spending a lot of money on him?
Yes. He does drive for his father. I need to get him a boss. He is, we're moving into the late model thing full time. So we go Sunday and Monday to Georgia to test. And if that goes well, we're gonna race him in Georgia, and then next weekend. And then the plan is to run him, down in New Smyrna for, 8 races in 9 nights. That thing. So. And then from there, we really don't have a hard schedule because we're waiting to see how he evolves and where he is. We want to put him in a position where it's hard for him, but not too hard. And until we really get a chance to evaluate him, it's hard to know. So we haven't put we're remaining flexible. We haven't put a hard schedule around him, and we'll see where his talent at this point will make the decision on what we need to do with him.
Claire.
Claire Bueller, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Isn't it true that really we don't know who might be good despite who's been in nationwide cars, or who was with the old car, or who has been or who hasn't been? There's a lot of conjecture about who might be good, but isn't it true that we just really don't know and might not really even know coming out of this one-day test?
Y'all don't take this the wrong way, but we don't know in the garage, and that means y'all don't know either. So, no disrespect intended, but it's fun. I'm a sports fan too. It's fun to sit down before the year and say, this is the team that's going to win the Super Bowl. But, how many of us are wrong? By far the majority of us are wrong. So it's fun to try to analyze it and say, well, this guy did this in 1932, and this guy did that, this team did this, and, all that's fun. Every year is a new year. Again, though, it's not a coincidence that certain drivers have success no matter what their situation is. That's not a coincidence. But I think none of us know. I mean, we've all been surprised before, how teams that we expected were going to be really good weren't, and how teams we didn't think were going to be very good, were much better than they thought. And then we also fall into the trap of there's always a team early in the year, they're like 8 or 9 races in. Wow, man, where did they come from? And then when the year's over, they're not there anymore. We always fall into that trap too. So you just never know, and I don't think any of us know right now.
Woody came with MRN. Jeff, you mentioned earlier that you think this car can lead to better racing, and that this will be your 5th time in it. From the seat, what are the things that you feel that make you believe that?
Well, my theory is based on years of experience and watching what's going on with the sport and how it's evolved. And we've gone through this thing, a lot of downforce, little downforce, a lot of grip, low grip, all these different tire combinations. At the end of the day, the better the cars are stuck in the racetrack, the closer the cars run to each other. We all remember, well, not all of us that were doing it, but a lot of us remember, years ago we went to the 5 and 5 rule. We took downforce off, and the racing suffered from that. When the COT first came out, Goodyear was still using the tires that he used the year before. The cars didn't drive very well at all, and the quality of racing suffered. So the better, especially on big tracks, the better the grip is, the closer the action can be. And so, you know, NASCAR, Goodyear, everybody has gone into this process of saying, okay, can we take downforce off and put a lot of mechanical grip in it? Will that make better racing? You know, we've looked at a lot of different things, and what's come out of it is it appears that more downforce, more grip, those things are going to make the racing better. And I believe that we're going to make more grip this year than we've ever made. Now, it's not to say every race is going to be, you know, the greatest race in NASCAR's history. You know, we have to have realistic expectations. Some races are going to be boring. Some football games are boring. Some basketball games are boring. But the average race has got to be a fun race to watch. And you know, I believe that more grip gives the drivers more opportunity to put their car in a position that they would be able to put it in if they didn't have that grip. And so that's why I think the racing is going to be better. I may be wrong. We'll see. But I think we have to change our mindset too, because you just track where the sport's gone. You know, we don't run at no Wilkesboro anymore. So we lost 2 short track races. We used to run 2 races at Darlington. We now run 1. We used to run 2 races at Rockingham. We don't run any. And we replaced them with either flat 1-mile racetracks or with 1.5 miles. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that if you put 43 cars on a 1/2-mile racetrack, you're going to have more action than if you put 43 cars on a 1.5-mile racetrack. So we've got to find a way to get the cars closer together on the 1.5 miles. How do we do that? The only way to do that is to make them drive better. You know, slow them down a little bit, make them drive better, and try to get them closer together so you have more action. And I'm of the belief, and I may be wrong about this, as I am everything, but I'm of the belief that our fans expect more today than they did 10 years ago. I watch a lot of racing as you guys do. I just don't think the racing's different last year as it was 10 years ago. But a lot of fans do. I think the expectation level is raised with the advent of the X Games, with the advent of people jumping motorcycles on top of, you know, the thing in Las Vegas 3 years ago for New Year's, those kind of things. I think the expectation level has gotten risen. We got to match that. We got to find a way to get there. The only way to do that is create more action. People don't want to go to the racetrack and watch a car get 8 seconds out in front of the second place car. They don't want to watch that. They want to see a race. And you know, the only way to do that is put the cars in closer proximity to each other, I think.
Any other questions for Jeff? Kenny?
Kenny Bruce, NASCAR.com. You said more downforce, more mechanical grip. Is it not less downforce on these cars?
It's a ton more downforce on these cars. So, to be clear, the Speedway cars have a lot less downforce. So there's a lot less downforce on the Daytona Talladega cars, assuming they don't change the spoiler between now and then, and there's quite a bit more downforce on every other car. So the Daytona Talladega package is just completely different. You know, that spoiler is that tall. You know, these spoilers are tall enough where you almost can't see over top of them. Matter of fact, some drivers have complained they can't see over them. So it's just 2 completely different packages.
Finish up with Stan and then Bill.
Stan Creekmore again with RPM tonight. Jeff, I was walking through the garage this morning and I saw something that I was told the teams have known about for a while, but I hadn't seen or heard anything about it. There's a totally different inspection process on those cars with the use of the laser and everything. How do you feel about it? And is that going to make the competition even more even?
Well, I think, you know, anything we can do, I think one of the things we suffer from too is, Claire and I talked about this last night, is that our sport's a lot different than every other sport. In every other sport, they play on a field, you know, they're 100 yards. Baseball fields, I know, are a little different, but you know, the bases are the same distance apart. And the Major League Baseball provides the baseball. You know, NFL provides the football. So we have a sport in which we all race each other every week. You know, it's not Duke, Carolina. It's all of us every week. We race on different facilities, completely different facilities every week, and we bring the ball with us. So there's a lot of moving targets. And so one of the things that our sport has always suffered from, whether it's true or not, is that, you know, when Jimmy Johnson wins 5 championships, oh, it's because his car is different than everybody else. You know, they're cheating, they're doing this, they're doing that. I think anything we can do to expose the fans to all of the rules, so that when NASCAR makes a call during the race, they understand that they weren't trying to favor Earnhardt Jr. because they made a call on pit road, or that the rule was enforced, they didn't make it up as they go, the better we are. And that goes for the inspection process as well. If the better we have an opportunity to show the fans, look, every car rolls across this thing, here's all the numbers, it prints out for everybody, unless there's somebody up there with, you know, the man behind the curtain, well, here comes this car, so push this button. You know, I think it takes away some of that crap where people think, oh, well, they made this rule for this and they didn't do that, you know. So I think it's a good thing. It's an extremely expensive proposition for NASCAR, but I think keeping us in a box is a good idea, and I think letting the fans know that everybody they get to bring their own ball. Okay, that's part of the sport. It's one of the coolest parts of the sport, but there are limitations to what they can do to that. And the more we can show them how we police those limitations, the better off we are, I think.
Thank you.
We'll finish up with it.
Bernstein, New York Times, I apologize if you've been asked about this. If these cars have more downforce, does that mean they're going to be somewhat easier to drive for young drivers coming up, or for somebody like Danica, the transition to Cup is going to be easier?
Well, they're going to make more grip. Whether it's easier or not, I don't know, because, you know, the more grip they make, the harder you drive them. And you still have to find that edge. You still have to find that limit. So if no one else was here, and you went out in a car that made more grip, then yes, it's easier. But when you bring 45, 48 other cars, and everybody's going fast, trying to go faster than the next guy, then all of a sudden it's hard again. So yeah, you know, just driving it all by yourself, not watching a stopwatch, without a doubt, it's going to be a little easier in some sense. But you know, whenever we start running today, everybody in that garage is going to start looking at, well, how are we? You know, are we fast enough? Or, you know, how much we need to pick up? And that's when it's going to get hard. And even if it makes high grip, you're still going to have to drive it really, really hard. The higher grip they make, the harder you have to drive it. And it requires a little leg, requires less finesse, requires more right foot, less brain. And so, you know, I wouldn't say it's going to be easier in the sense that everybody's got the same thing. But it will be, you know, just getting in the car, you know, fundamentally they should drive a little better.
All right, Jeff, we'll appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
They will.